committed to um, sharing my journey, this no smoking journey. um, some days, like this is day 10. Praise the Lord. I've not had a cigarette in 10 days. And it's big because the people in my home smoke. So, you know, it's one thing when you try to quit something and there's nobody around you that's even doing that thing that you're trying to quit, it makes it easier. But when you are trying to quit something and then there's people around you that are still doing that thing you're trying to quit, it makes it a little bit more challenging. But the God has given me a strength that I've been able to still withstand. That's like people who are you know uh, have addictions to, like, say, fentanyl or cocaine or crack or marijuana or whatever, alcohol, whatever it is. You're not going to be able, it's going to be more difficult for you to quit if you continue to be around those people who are doing that thing that you're trying to quit. You got to, so, and it's easy just to well, I'm not going to go around those people. But it's another thing if those people are in your home. And, so it's like you got to learn your own self control. And that's what I'm doing right now. I'm trying to learn my own self control. So, in going through that, I'm also going through my stages of withdrawal, right? And one of them is my emotions. I am I am super emotional right now. You know, I really am. I'm probably hyper emotional. I feel like I feel like right now I'm crying at the drop of a hat. If somebody be like, "Oh, it's gonna rain tomorrow," I'm like, "Why is it gonna rain?" I'm going through my emotions. I am. Uh, so Sunday, I um, I had my Mother's Day, um, my pre Mother's Day event, and at first I was disappointed because, for all the people who I have supported throughout all these years, you know, I didn't. I don't feel like for this particular um, event I didn't get that in return. You know, because usually I'm doing something for me, but I'm also bringing other people along. But this particular event wasn't about that, right? And so I really don't feel like the people came that I thought would come. But then as the day went on, I started to understand that it wasn't about that, right? It really, it went, those who were supposed to be there were there. And really it was about, you know, because at first I had it where it was supposed to be like play some music and then I was gonna perform, then play some music and then I was gonna perform. That's how it was supposed to be, but that ain't how it ended up. That wasn't God's will. I ended up doing everything in one set, and then now afterward when I look back at it, I said, okay, God had me set that up in a it was like a ministry almost. It was like he was ministering through me in between the songs, because I understand that everything is about timing. And I did what I tell other artists to do. I'm like, when you have an event, I don't care how many people come. I don't care if it's only one person there. If that one person got a phone and they can stream you, then you perform like you're performing for the world, because you really are. Don't even worry about whoever comes, come. And those who don't come, you still perform as if you're performing in an arena. And that's what I did. I feel like that's what I did. And really, that's how God set it up. So I pray that somebody was blessed by that. Especially when I start talking about, the whole thing with the kids and stuff. Because everybody, I mean, there are some parents and stuff who Mothers, they were the best mother. They made the brownies for the whole, soccer team, and they were there for every homework. They were part of PTA and everything, and they was just the perfect model parents. The mother and father, they got married when they was young, and had children, and the children just grew up in a Huxtable type loving environment and all that kind of stuff. You do got those kind of families and them kind of mothers. But then you got another level of mothers who they didn't have it like that. They got pregnant out of wedlock. You know what I'm saying? Or they got pregnant, but then and they were married, but they ended up getting divorced, and the father don't want to do his part or whatever, or you know what I'm saying? And so they had to take care of them children, or that child. They had to work night shift or day shift. They had to figure out who was going to babysit them while they went out, because there was only one income coming in at home, and so mom had to work, two jobs, and she had to, and sometimes the child had to be his own daycare child. Like, listen, the food's in the microwave. You know what I'm saying? Don't open the door for strangers, and call me if you need me. I'm about to go to work. You had them kind of mamas. You know what I'm saying? You had them kind that they had to do that. They called them the latchkey babies. Then you had them other mothers, the mothers who had their own trauma, their own drama. They grew up in an abusive environment. They grew up being, molested by the uncles or the cousins or whoever, babysitters, or they grew up with the mama on alcohol or strung out, or maybe the mama would just be leave out prostitute and be gone for days at a time, and the kids got to figure out how they gonna make it through life on their own. You had them kind of mamas. You had the mamas that's strung out on stuff that ain't doing right, in and out of rehab, in and out of stuff. You got them kind of mamas too, but don't mean they don't love their kids. They just the drugs and the alcohol and their trauma just kept them from being what their kids needed them to be. You got them kind of mamas too. You got a whole bunch of different levels of mamas. You got the mamas, and I'm talking about the mamas who they didn't give birth naturally, but they had to be the mama. They had to step up and take care of their sister's kids, or or their brother's kids, or the neighbor's kids, or all the kids in the neighborhood came to them because they were the only house in the neighborhood that act like they really cared about the freaking kids. Them kind of mamas too. You got them grandmamas who had to take their child out there doing whatever, and so they had to raise their grandchildren. It ain't really that the children, the mamas didn't care. They struggled through their own situations in life. They had different levels of mamas, and so for me, I wasn't trying to make one mama better than the other. I'm just celebrating all mamas, because everybody got a story. Everybody got their struggles. And sometimes the kids don't understand that. They don't understand that, we're all on this journey called life. I wanted to talk to the mamas. I wanted to, and talking to the mamas, I want to talk to my kids. And I wanted to, speak to my children. Because we going through our own battles. When God gave me that song, He changed my world, I cried. Still cry. That's part of this emotion thing I'm going through. I think it's because of me not smoking, and it's just taking my emotions to another level. But I was a little disappointed that it wasn't the turnout that I hoped. But then I said, you know what? It's all God's will. It's all God's timing. I'm being obedient to what He's telling me to do. And so in this journey, in this 20-something year journey where I feel like I've been obedient, it ain't been easy. And sometimes, the kids, they don't understand the sacrifices that mamas make. And they don't understand the mistakes that mamas make. You know? How you doing, Miss Stephanie? And I don't mean we don't love our children. We love our children. I love my kids. We just trying to figure our way through life. We're born, and we trying to figure out what we need to be learning, what we need to be doing on this journey until God says, all right, curtain closed, come on. So we don't know always how to be the best parents. I ain't been always been the I don't think I've always, in fact, I know I haven't always made the best decisions. It wasn't that I was trying to I was doing that on purpose. I was just trying to figure out my way through life. and trying to do this thing that I felt like God was telling me to do. And the kids was just coming while I was on that journey. And I'm trying to figure out how to be the best mama for them and still do this and still work as a nurse taking care of other people's family while my own children was suffering from me not being there. But hey, I'm a single parent. I'm divorced. What am I supposed to do? Kids don't always understand that, you know? And then sometimes we parents, we carry that burden. Because when they get to be about in their 20s, they don't say nothing when they 5 and 6, 10. They really, not really. They start to doing, little stuff, but they don't still tell you how they feel, about the decisions or the sacrifices or the stuff that you had to make when they was 7, 8, 10, 12. They don't say nothing. Even if they're being defiant, they still not really talking about it. But if something happened when they hit them 20s, when they hit them 30s, oh Lord, they want to tell you about everything you didn't do for them. How come that you wasn't here or there, or how come you didn't do this or that, or how come they didn't have this kind of life or that kind of life, and why, and and yeah, and they just want to pour that all on you, and they making goofy decisions, but they still want to bring it back to you and say, is the reason why I did that is because at 7 you didn't do this, that, and like they go through that right there. Jesus. What all we can say is, listen, I did the best I could. Yes, Miss Stephanie. Miss Stephanie, first of all, let me just say I appreciate you. I don't always see who's on here. I just be talking, right? And I don't always see it, so it must be God's will for me to see you, Miss Stephanie Styles. And the same for you, Miss Yvette. And I feel, you know what? Everybody, every Mother's Day, everybody be like, Happy Mother's Day. And everybody want to be so happy and stuff. And it is for a large majority of people. That is a beautiful thing. The kids come and show the mothers so much love and bring them flowers. And everybody's, yay, Mom, we love you. Da, da, da. But what about the other mothers? What about the other mothers? What about the mothers that love their kids? They do, but the kids is just angry. And so they don't even want to speak to them. They ain't talked to their daughter in 6 months. They ain't talked to their daughter in a year. Daughter don't even come around. She mad. Kids mad. Son mad. Everybody, they still angry. Holding on to stuff. You still holding their mama or their daddy. You're responsible for some stuff that happened when they was 4. They holding that on. So you making goofy decisions at 21 and still blaming it on the Barbie doll you didn't get when everybody else got a toy when you was 5. Like, come on now. Like, give me a break. What about the other mothers? That's why I created that song, You Changed My World, because I wanted to speak to not just the picture perfect moms, the ones that made the cupcakes for the football team, and did all the kids make straight A's and B's, and they always was dressed from the head to toe, always looking good. Grew up in the big house in the suburbs and with the picket fence and everything is beautiful. I don't want to just talk to them. I want to talk to the ones whose kids don't want to freaking listen. The kids that you trying to tell them, listen, don't go down that road, man. I understand I made my mistakes along the way, but listen, man, I'm trying to tell you ahead of time. Don't go down that road. Don't go there. Don't mess. Listen, I seen that joker come when you brought him in the house, and I knew that he wasn't gonna be good for you. Don't mess with that, baby. Don't do drugs, okay? Don't mess with no drugs. Listen, don't do this. Like, you be trying to tell them, and they don't want to listen, but then they want to turn around and blame you because they feel like you wasn't the perfect Pillsbury dough making mama when they was 3. We need to let them know, listen, God chose me to bring you in this world. I was trying to figure out my own way. I was 19, I was 18, I was 15, I was 17, I was 16. I didn't even know. I looked up one day, my period didn't come. Darn, I'm pregnant. What the heck? I didn't run to the abortion clinic. I kept you. I said, we're going to figure this thing out together. What about them mamas? I love my kids. Mr. Hankey, I talked to him the other day, and I was like, you asked me some years ago, you said, Patricia, you going to make it one day. That's what he's told me. He said, you going to make it. He said, then I'm going to ask you. When it's all said and done, I'm going to ask you, was it worth it? I don't know how I would feel 10, 15, or whenever I make it to whatever level he talking about or whatever. But sometimes, I'm going to be honest with you, sometimes I wonder, was it worth it? Was the sacrifice worth it? So many people, they chase this dream, entertainment or career or whatever dreams they chasing. And sometimes they make those dreams become an idol where they can't even see nothing else because they want that dream so bad that they will do whatever to get to that. And if they have kids, the kids just got to take that monkey ride with them. I don't know if it was worth it. I don't know. But I guess this is a bigger, this ain't even me. This ain't even about me. So I guess it don't even matter. I just feel like I'm on assignment. And God, I was one of the people that God chose. That's how I feel. I appreciate that. Listen, I didn't quit smoking, so I'm emotional. So if I start crying on here, just understand I've been in my emotions. My emotions. I appreciate NH underscore TY. I get my glasses on XYYO. I appreciate that. I ain't smoked in 10 days. I'm emotional. Think about my kids and I get emotional. I be trying to fight it. When I got off work today, let me come out here and sit down. Because the one thing God has told me is be authentic. Because everybody going through something. Be authentic. Let people know you ain't the only one going through stuff. And it's okay if you ain't perfect. It's okay. When I sing that song, you changed my world, I be meaning that from the bottom of my heart. Because my children did change my world. I was out doing whatever. I was young. I didn't know. I was irresponsible, careless. Then I got pregnant. Whoa, snap. Responsibility. Snap. Oh, I can't just do whatever. Now I got to really figure out a life plan because I'm pregnant. My children changed my world. That's when I really start getting serious. Otherwise, I'll just here, there, whatever, partying out there. Hey, oh. I was in the military. Went to the army. But God knew. He knew what I needed. I was in during Gulf War. My next assignment would have probably been to be over there. But I got pregnant. God put a child inside of me and said, okay, your assignment over here is up. It's time for you going home. Because I probably would have been over there in Iraq somewhere. Maybe I would have died. Who knows what would have happened. But I remember going into the military and I prayed and I asked God. I said, God, I just want to get away from home. That's really why I'm in the military. I just want to get away from home. So God, please don't let me have to go to war. That was my prayer. They was sending them straight out of AIT. They was going from basic training, AIT, straight over to the Gulf War. They no stops. But the Lord placed me stateside. I was in the medevac unit. in California. Young, 20 years old. I'm young. This is my first time really being away from home in another state with nobody. Like I'm literally a kid. Some of these children that join the military, they be kids. You know, I was a kid. But see, God can see what you can't see. So it and it ends up it's crazy because the base that I was on, they ended up closing it down. So they probably would have sent me somewhere, Germany somewhere. I probably would have been in the Gulf War. But because of the prayer, see, God hears you when you pray. Because of the prayer that I prayed before I ever went, God placed a seed in me. He made I became pregnant. And I had to make a decision. Patricia, what you gonna do? Got this child on the way. What you gonna do? My son changed my world. Did I always make the best decisions? Nah, because I was young. A lot of us are, you know. You know what, Miss Yvette? I don't make me cry. God want God speaks to us in different ways at different times and through different people. They're called destiny helpers. You know, at different times in your life, people come into your life to bring a word or to give you some information or to comfort you. I felt so kind of disappointed because I didn't get the support that I thought I would get, you know, from all the people who I have supported throughout the years as far as music goes. I didn't get that support. So I felt a little. At first, I felt a little bit disappointed, but then I was like, you know what? I'm going to use this to the best of my ability, and I'm just going to stream it live, and I'm just going to do it on live because I got a couple people, you know, that follow me that maybe they, and maybe they want to hear my music. But the guy ended up turning it into a whole 30-minute set that I wasn't even planning, right? And then at the end, what really blew my mind was the very lady who I had met at the QT weeks ago. When I came out to QT and said, can you pray for me? When she was with that guy, and I didn't know her from a bottle of paint. And then ended up going to the park to pray and didn't even know that that was the very community that she lived in. And so once again, she came right in. She came while I was in that live. You'll see it on YouTube. And I'm talking. I'm excited. I'm like, dang, destiny helper. Because I was feeling low in my spirit that day, and God brought her into my life. No doubt about it. And so here I am now at this event. I'm excited because I know that God wanted me to do it because there was so many things that's been coming against me to stop me from doing it. But oh, Jesus. I said, I'm going to still do it. I'm still going to, even in spite of what's going on with my kids, in spite of what's going on in my life, in spite of everything, I'm still going to keep that date. I'm still going to do it. And I only mentioned it to her that day. I met her and I was just like, hey, I'm doing an event on May 4th, and I invited her. We exchanged numbers. That day, God sent her again. She came and she brought me flowers. She don't even know how that made me feel. Like, God brings destiny helpers, people that He assigns. It's as if God brought flowers to me through her. And it's so funny, when I was driving away from the event on Sunday, a red bird went right by my car, right when we was coming out. I said, listen, God is speaking. So even though my thought was that I was going to have a pack house, and everybody's gonna be so ready to celebrate Mother's Day with me, and it wasn't. It didn't end up like that. God said, "Listen, I still got a plan because the people who saw it and the people who shared it or who felt something from it, they were supposed to get that." This whole thing was about them, and it wasn't even about the people that actually came to the building. It was about what you did and the people who are going to receive something from it. People need to understand, you know. God hears us when we pray, but we got to understand that things are about His timing and His will and His purpose. And we just walking the journey and trusting Him, you know. And whatever we need, we're going to have when we need it. And He's going to send the people that we need when we need them most. Destiny helpers, sometimes they come with a message. But that message is necessary, or they come with comforting words, or they come with love, or sometimes they come with money, or they come with opportunities. God sends destiny helpers in so many different ways. This is day 10. I haven't smoked in 10 days. I told you I'm emotional, y'all. I ain't smoked in 10 days. But I'm proud of myself because I'm like, I can do it. The Lord gave me the strength to do it without a patch. Even though I live in a house with other smokers, Jesus. So I'm doing my best to stay committed to it, and these lives help me. So the song, well, my album is going to be coming out. The 12-year journey through music. My goal is for it to come out June 25th. That's my goal. If I have all the songs done and recorded by that time, then that'll be the date. If not, I'll push it back. You know how that goes. But I'm seeing this, what's coming through me, what God is bringing through me, through this music, is just so deep. You know, it started with that song, you know, whatever we ask. Like, trust God, because whatever we ask, He hears us. What was that, Mark 11:24? He hears us, you know? But you just got to trust His timing. So that first song I released, whatever we asked that I performed, that's, and then, you know, open doors. Because when we ask God for things, He's going to answer it by opening doors or bringing destiny helpers or doing the things that we need done at the time we need them done. So if what you are praying for don't pop up in your life, to me, either you ain't ready or whatever the other person who got to bring it to you ain't ready. Something ain't ready. That's one thing. Something ain't ready. Then I went on with you know, you changed my world. Because my children changed my world. They don't even understand how much they changed my world. All of a sudden, I wasn't just running around in the streets and just doing the most. I started having a plan. I was like, well, let me go to nursing school or something. Let me figure out that I got to be able to take care of this child. You know, so when I got out of the military, I went straight to nursing school. And then from there, 2 weeks after I had my son, I met my ex-husband. I was ready to settle down and provide a life for this child. He changed my world. Then came some more kids. I'm like, snap. And when my other kids came, they came in the season when I was getting divorced and was going through experiencing homelessness and going through all that. They came in that season. But I still tried to do what I could while I was going through my own struggles. So yeah, it changed my world. Because in that season, when I was in my lowest, I couldn't stop because I had kids. So I had to do what I could even when I didn't have a lot to do it with. Even when I'm in shelters, I got to be the best I can for them because we got to get through this together. I went through a lot of stuff. Well, I feel like I can't do bugs. Me and bugs. Yeah. I love God too, Spencer. Let me tell you something. That's the only thing that's keeping me going. That's the only thing that keeps me going. Some people be like, you too churchy, you too. Listen, I gotta do what's gonna keep my mind right, keep my spirit up. For me, it's praising God. It's trusting that there's a higher power, understanding that God is gonna be there when I need Him, and He gonna get me through whatever, and He forgives me for anything that I did that was not right, and He loves me unconditionally. I gotta hold on to that, because otherwise, I'd be in a mental institution somewhere. All the drama I've been through in my life, for real. Thank you, Miss Stephanie. I appreciate you. It's so wild that I'm able to see. I usually can't even see the messages. See, so this was God's will for me to even be able to see them, because I'm usually not even able to see when y'all comment. So I appreciate that. I appreciate you, those of you who have watched my pre-Mother's Day event. I appreciate the ones of you who you have shared it with other people. I thank you. I thank you for the ones who listen to my music and y'all like it and y'all buy it and don't just stream it, or y'all share it, or whatever. I appreciate the ones who have poured into me over these years. Over all these years, for the ones who, they still, rock with me. They don't care about my imperfections. They understand my journey and they still rock with me. I appreciate them, because those are destiny helpers. That's what they are to me. So I'm documenting this journey through smoking, not smoking again, because I did it last summer, but I did it a 31 day. But this time I'm not doing. I'm trying to make a lifestyle change. Right? I'm not trying to just, 31 days and I'm going to start back. Because I remember last time they asked me, they said, okay, well, when your 31 days is up, are you going to go back? And at that point, I didn't know what I was going to do. I'm like, I don't know. I'm just trying to get through each day as I can. Sally said, do you know my cousin, Janetta? What's Janetta's last name? Where is Janetta from? I'm originally from Ohio. I'm from Columbus, Ohio. I don't know if Janetta is from there. But I'm learning that, there's a lot of Goins that are all over. When I lived in Chicago, I ran into Goins that I didn't even know. I didn't even know I had family in Chicago whose last name was Goins. Oh, she's in LA. So I'm thinking her last name is Goins? What's her last name? What's her last name? Miss Sally. I don't know. I love LA. I love LA though. There's something about LA. I don't know. Every time I've gone to LA, I've had the most beautiful experiences. Like when I went in 2023, even though my event guy, I had paid for my whole trip because I was going with there was a publicist who my fiance knew, and she was doing something, or somebody was doing something. And she invited me to go, and I had to pay my own ticket, my own stuff, but I didn't care because it was his friend, and I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna get to sing, and I'm gonna get to sell my books, and I'm gonna get to do all this stuff. She hyped me up. I bought my ticket. I'm ready. Like, hey, I'm going to LA. Hey. The day before I'm supposed to go out there, I get a call. Oh yeah, it's been canceled. What? Her last name is Triplet? No, I don't know, ma'am. I don't know her. Not by name, anyway. I remember that was one of those times when I was just like, okay, God, I done bought this ticket. I got this Airbnb schedule, and my flight leaves tomorrow, and it's canceled. What do I do? Jesus, I was like, what do I do? And I remember, even before I knew she was going to cancel it, I kept saying, you know what? I know I feel like I got an appointment with God on the beach. Like, I feel like there's a reason why He wants me to go, and I feel like I need to go to the beach when I get there. Like, I always felt that. So when she canceled, I was like, oh, snap. You know what I do? Do I put it up on a shelf and wait till the BET Awards come or something? Like, what do I do? I don't know. But then I just felt like God was telling me, listen, I don't care what. I told you. You and I got an appointment on the beach. So I ended up still going. And it's so wild how it worked out. Because when I got there, I literally arrived in LA, got to my Airbnb, and went to Seal Beach right when the sun was starting to set. And I opened up that little daily bread I had. And I just opened it up to the first page. And the first page was talking about this woman or this man or whoever it was that was sitting on the beach watching the waves. And God was saying to them, we always rushing from here to there, here to there, here to there. Sometimes God just wants you to stand still and know that He is God. And I'm sitting there reading this daily bread, and I'm about this woman on the beach who was God is speaking to her, or man, or whoever it was, because they were talking about they was playing the water, the watching the waves, sitting on the beach, and I'm sitting there on the beach watching the waves. And in that moment, God was like downloading music into my soul. And I end up going and doing that song with Miss Crystal at that hotel or wherever that was she took me to in LA, and we freestyled. I had never met Miss Crystal before in person. I had never sung with her. It was just like, come on, we're gonna find us a piano somewhere up in this building, and we ran and found a piano, and we turned on our phones, and she just started playing, and the words just came, the lyrics just came, the music just came. So when you see that cover art for whatever we ask, that is me taking a picture with my phone on the beach. I had an appointment with God on the beach, and He brought me back with a song. And the song is Whatever We Ask. Jesus. Mm. Hello, Miss Kelly B. Kelly B. So, you know what? I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just talking. What I'm mainly talking about, or what I started talking about, or what the whole plan of it was, to talk about the fact that I'm on day 10 of no smoking. But one of the side effects that or the withdrawals that I'm going through is my emotions. I'm really emotional. I'm super emotional right now. I'm just, Lord be, you know. Everything is just making me cry. I don't know where I can't, but I know it's part of the withdrawal. But I'm handling it better than I felt like I would any other time in my life. It's like God is giving me the strength not to smoke, because I've been smoking for 34. Gosh, I want to say I was like 19 when I started smoking. And you asked me, well, what made you wait till then? I don't even know. I was in college, and some little boy jilted me, and I was mad. And the girl who was one of my friends, who was older, who just seemed like she was cool. She was just like the coolest one in the camp. Like how you that cool, And she smoked, and I'm just like, you know what? Give me one of them. That was the worst freaking thing I could have did, because I ended up being a freaking 30, almost 40-year habit, trying to be cool, following. Am I wanting to eat more? No, right, Miss Kelly B. Smoking is not good for you. You know what? I don't. I don't. I don't think so. Probably because I drink coffee. So maybe the coffee is suppressing my desire to eat. Because I drink coffee in the morning. And my appetite. I don't know. My appetite is not. And then I'm stressing. When I stress, I don't eat. So I'm going through all this stuff with my kids and life, and I'm trying to figure this out and still not smoke. And my appetite ain't really been how it normally is. So no, I haven't. I haven't really been eating. No, although I do hear people say that they eat more. Is that's you know what, Kelly B. I think you're right. In fact, I know you're right. Normally, I would just grab a cigarette. Kids piss me off, get a cigarette, all that. But now it's like I don't have that. So now it's like, okay, I still got the triggers, but I'm learning to deal with it better. You're right. I'm learning to. No, I don't know if I'm learning to deal with it better, because I swear, everything is making me cry. It's just like, golly gee. Some of them like, all the milk is gone. Why is all the milk gone? My fiance, poor thing, he got to deal with me. That's the hardest thing when you trying to quit, and then the person that you with, they got to deal with your emotional ups and downs and roller coaster rides. That's you know what? And drinking. The only reason why drinking did not become my vice when I was younger was just because the hangovers used to make me throw up too bad. I couldn't do it. But I understand because everybody got something, right? Everybody got something something that they use to handle, the emotions or the things that they don't want to face. Everybody grabs something. Some people grab food, some people grab liquor, some people grab drugs, some people grab alcohol, some people grab pornography, some people they got to screw all day long. Some people just shut down. Everybody got something. Some people just mean. You ever admit them people just mean? Like, you just mean. They mean because that's the way that they handle their internal issues. Everybody got something. If people try to act like, oh, they're perfect, you lying. I don't know, because right now I'm is that the next step? Is that the next step after crying is being annoyed? Right now, I'm just, everything is just. My son was like, Mom, you know, don't let it get to you, you know. I talked to Mr. Hanky even about what's going on with my kids, Mr. Hanky said, F them kids. He said, your kids grown, F them kids. I'm just like, but I try to explain to him, you can't, that's hard to say when, for a man, maybe it's easy for y'all to say that, F them kids, whatever, because y'all didn't carry him for 9 months. They're not. You didn't feel the movement on the inside of your stomach. You didn't feel, that you didn't hear the heartbeat. You didn't see them moving up there when they did the little, It's harder for mothers. Fathers can be like that. That's that tough love. Men can be like that. They be all right. They let them learn. And it's easier for men to do that. But it ain't. It's easy for the mama. They grown. They there, and I know, and I'm trying. But still, you know. A mother's love is just different. I don't know. It's not easy for us to be, we're the ones that daddy beat and put them out, and we over there, sneaking in the back, bringing them food. It's that love for a mother has that, you know, can't be explained. So even though my kids are grown, I ain't got no babies no more. But when my kids are in pain, it hurts me to my heart. And so now I'm going through, trying to go, I guess, the empty nest syndrome type situation, but still seeing the pain and knowing that they mad at me, it just breaks my heart. Just hurt. I can't even express it. So I'm going through it right now. And it's sad that it's happening on a social type thing because my kids is acting a hot mess, and doing the most or whatever, maybe going through their own life challenges, and I'm just like, and I don't even care that my oldest son is flipping the heck out and putting it all over social media. I don't even care because people talk about me anyway. I don't care about the social thing. What hurts me is what he's going through, and that he ain't trying to talk to nobody. He just going through it, and then somehow, I guess I'm the scapegoat. Lord. I don't know. That's, you know what, Miss Kelly B, that's so right. Miss Kelly B said, she said, what did you say? Child, yes, some people walk around with a permanent frown on their face. Yes, Lord. And then Miss Kelly B said, or Kelly B. Am I saying Kelly B? Is it Kelly B or Kelly B? And this is a miss. I can't see a picture, so I don't know if it's a man or woman. I'm thinking it's a woman. I'm sure it's a woman, I think. Anyway, it's not in our nature to abandon our children. It's not. Yeah, you got to be a woman, because only a woman talks like that. We women, we understand. It's hard. Men be like, at 18, you got to get out. Women, we just be like, listen, where you gonna go? Where they gonna go? They ain't ready yet. So we be trying. We be trying to tell them the father got that hard love, and so and then when it's a woman trying to raise sons, it's even more difficult because a son learns how to do X Y Z from his father, but the father is not there. Then the mama trying to be the mother and the father, and then the child mad at us because we not the father. I can't be the father and the mother, but I'm trying my best. Listen. I know I am. I appreciate you. Like I said, I'm in my emotions. I ain't smoked a cigarette in ten days. I'm in my emotions. I'm in my emotions. So for anybody who you trying to quit something right now, I commend you. If you're someone who you've been drinking alcohol for years and you decided, you know what, I'm tired of being controlled by this substance. I'm about to take control and I'm about to quit. I commend you. For anybody who like me and you just like, you know what, I've been smoking all my life, but I decided I'm not smoking no more. I'm just going to go through whatever I got to do to quit because I don't want to be controlled by nicotine no more. I commend you. Whatever it is that you know ain't good for you. I've been a nurse for 32 years. I done had patients who, they one lung on oxygen, can't hardly breathe and still trying to smoke because the nicotine got them and they don't feel like they strong enough to quit and they ain't got no way to figure out how to deal with the stresses. I got patients, cirrhosis of the liver, kidney function declining, all that kind of stuff, and they're still trying to drink because they don't know how to deal with what's going on in their world, and that's been their coping mechanism. And even though it's killing them, they don't know how to stop. So I commend anybody who is like me, who you have decided that you're going to stop doing that thing that you're feeling convicted about or that you know is killing you. And even though it's hard because I'm in my emotions. Meditation, I like that. I had a patient tell me that one time. I was like, so how do you deal with stress? And the patient said, sometimes I just sit on the side of my bed in the morning and I just quiet all the noise and I just breathe in and breathe out. And I sit in silence. Yeah. When you start to being obedient to whatever it is that God is telling you to do, God finds ways to speak to you. Sometimes it might be in your dreams. Sometimes He wakes you up in the middle of the night. You wake up to hearing the Holy Spirit speaking to you, or you're having dreams and God is showing you things that are to come and all that kind of stuff. Like if something happens when you are fasting or quitting or not doing something, when you're taming your flesh and you're trying to get closer to God and you're meditating or you're praying or you're in your scriptures or whatever, if something happens, like the downloads come more, and it's like you can hear God speaking to you, or He uses you more and speaks through you. Jesus, it'd be something. That connection is different when you're taming the flesh. That's how I feel. That's my thoughts. This is helping me right now. This is my therapy. This is my therapy class. Miss, thank you. Thank you. You said you are so refreshing. I'm just keeping it real. In all honesty, I don't even know no other way to be. I'm just keeping it real. And I'm just on this journey called life, just like everybody else. I'm just speaking about the things that are affecting me. You know, right now I'm dealing with an addiction. I'm fighting an addiction. I'm dealing with my kids. I'm going through that. I'm dealing with this. I'm dealing with that. And I'm just sharing my journey because that is my assignment. Everybody's not assigned to that. Some people are very private. Some people be going through stuff and you don't even know they're going through nothing because they be all happy and smiley and okie dokie, da. And they the life of the party and all that kind of stuff. And you don't even know that they battling private demons at home. Mm. Killy, I am, yay, because I'm the worst with pronunciations. Kelly B. Kelly B, I cannot, my eyes will not let me see. I know there's a picture. So, Kelly B, are you a woman or a man? Because I cannot, I promise you, I don't got my, and I just went and got some glasses. But for some reason, I got them progressives, and I'm still trying to figure out how to use them. So, Kelly B, female, okay. Praise the Lord. Come on now, Miss Kelly, so you understand. You understand. You understand. Mother of two. Oh, so you double understand. How old are your children, Miss Kelly? Kelly B. How old are your children? Keely. Keely. How old are your children? Oh gosh, yep. I know you feel me, because they at that age. That's that age right there. That 20 and that 18. It's something about them kids. I don't know what it is. Maybe because, for me, I used to tell my kids, listen, I'm only entitled to be dealing with you, and I have to till you 18. Once you 18, you really technically grown. So so they held me to that, right? Because people used to tell me, once you got 18 years, you're committed for 18 years. They always told me 18 was the limit. So I'm telling my kids, hey, 18 is the limit. But let me tell you something, that's a lie. Whoever told you that motherhood stops at 18, whoever told you that growing up, you got 18 years, it's longer than 18, babe. It's longer than 18. I don't care what nobody say. That sentence is longer than 18. So whoever you are, if you're 15, 17, 19, 20, 21, and you got pregnant, they be like, you got 18 years. I'm here to tell you that is longer than 18. It don't stop at 18. When they're 18, they're able to tell you what they think without you being able to smack them in the mouth. That's what. But they still need you. It's still you still on that journey, baby. 18, don't. I used to stop lying and telling the people that you got 18 years once you get pregnant. No, it's longer than 18. You got kids, you got people that's 40 and 50 who still live with their mom and daddy. Stop it. It's longer than 18. Stop playing. You got parents who still, 70-year-olds who still taking care of their 50-year-old, 40-year-old, 30-year-old child. It's longer than 18. At 18, they start to feel like I'm grown now. But a lot of them can't provide for themselves, so they still need you. So they talking smack and then saying, can I get 15 so I can put some gas in the car? Or, they talking smack and then saying, so what we having for dinner? They talking smack and saying, but can you help me get some new shoes? They talking smack, but they still need you at 18. They just feel like they grown. I'm 18. But can I use your car? I'm 18. But can you pay my phone bill? Yes, Lord. Daniel, yes.
That's just a neighbor.
They need to stop telling that lie and saying that 18 is the cutoff. You ain't got to deal with it, And my daughter had the nerve to bring it back to me and was like, well, you said when we turned 18. Okay, well, I was wrong. Because you still live with me and talking smack. So obviously I was wrong. It's longer than 18. But we mothers, we deal with it longer too because we love our children. That's that maternal instinct. That's that, I want my children to have the best. We still nurture them as if they were still, the babies that we, breastfed. Like some mothers are a little bit tougher than others. But most of us still, we don't have that toughness like the father. The father's, so for a man to be like, after them kids, they 21, they older now. Okay, but you didn't carry them for 9 months, right? You didn't have to go through labor. You didn't have to push them out your body. So you're not really understanding the connection that mothers have with their kids, even when the kids is grown. It's hard for us to turn our back and be like, they grown now. You know what I'm saying? It's hard. Even the ones who they was out out there in the streets doing wrong. I'm talking about these mothers who've been out there and doing the streets and they was wrong, whatever, and they got to get their life together. They still go back and they try to build something with their kids. They be like, I'm sorry for what I did when I was your age, and I want to build a relationship, but the kids still be mad. Nah, because he wasn't there when I was growing up. Okay, well, when you was growing up, I was still going through my stuff. But listen, I'm here now. I'm still on earth now. Let's build now, but the kids want to still be mad. Hey, let them be mad then. Woo, I believe that. I believe that. Miss Keely B said, when you go through labor, death walks through the room at least 3 times. I believe that too. I believe that. I believe that. Jeez. I believe that. Lord have mercy. So it's like, I just wanted to sing and I wanted to perform for the mothers on Sunday. And then not just the mothers, I wanted to talk to people who have a dream. Because sometimes, there are those of us who are carrying dreams. We are carrying visions that are like seeds that God has planted in our spirit, right? And sometimes, it takes nurturing these dreams, and we got to feed these dreams, and we got to take care of the dreams, and we got to protect the dreams. And then a lot of times, people, in our lives who know we have these dreams and visions and goals, sometimes, they don't always help us, they don't always support us as we're nurturing these dreams and these visions and these goals. And sometimes, we feel like single parents are, with these dreams and visions and goals, because it seems like those who we love, the ones that are closest to us, don't really help us the way they could to help us bring this dream, this vision, to adulthood or whatever. You understand what I'm saying? A lot of us are carrying dreams, and you got these dream killers that's coming in. They trying to make us abort ahead of time, or they trying to make us doubt that God gave us that vision, that dream, that goal, or they making us want to give up and all that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not just talking to the parents, the mothers, and I'm talking to the dreamers too. I'm talking to the dreamers. Sometimes it's not easy to pursue a dream or a vision or goal or something that God put in you and still be a mother or father and still take your responsibilities, and and you're trying to wrestle to figure out how to do the 3. Some people give up on their dreams and visions and goals before it ever reaches maturity, because of all the trials and tribulations and things they go through, for all the naysayers, or they don't get the support or whatever that's going on that makes them, not want to continue to pursue their dreams or vision and goals. So when I do that pre-Mother's Day live performance, I'm not just talking to the mothers, I'm talking to the dreamers too. Go after your dreams, y'all. Just make sure you keep family first. God is a God of order. This is what I've learned. God is a God of order, right? It was a tough thing to learn, but God is a God of order. So whatever your dream, your vision, your goal is, just don't make it your idol. Like, make sure you keep God first. God first, family next, stability, all that kind of stuff. And then the dream, so that there's an order to it, because God is a God of order. And if you go out of order, then it's going to be all confusion, all that kind of craziness. You're going to be struggling and you'll be going through the most because something is out of order. Yes, manifestation. That's what I'm looking for. Thank you. The word you are looking for is manifestation. Refers to the process of bringing desires and goals into reality. Come on now. See, Destiny Helper. Miss Kelly B is my Destiny Helper today. I appreciate you, and everybody who has stopped by here, and everybody who has, listened to me babble and talk and just You know, God is using me right now, and He, just to speak. And He's blessed me with destiny helpers, Jesus, who have stopped by to comment or share or just be a part of, what God is doing in my life right now. And I'm praying that, my music or my message or even my process of quitting, smoking will help somebody else who has been having either the same battle or something similar, because quitting an addiction, I don't care what the addiction is, it ain't easy, and it takes self-discipline. And the thing is, the self-discipline, a lot of times, it's a moment by moment thing. It's not so much like, oh, okay, I'm not gonna smoke, all right, I'm good. Okay, but what about when the triggers come? That's when the self-control comes in, because you gotta fight against wanting to do that thing that you normally do when you get to this situation or have that feeling. I still get the urges. I still get the urges, and I'm still fighting the urges. I'm still fighting the urges. Sometimes it feel like my mouth just be just as thick, like I just want to gut. Like I feel like if I had a puff of a cigarette, it would just make that feeling go away. But I'm like, because I'm going to win this battle. I'm going to win. I'm determined. I want to see what is life like without having to smoke. I want to see what it's like to tame my flesh. I want to see what happens when you are obedient to what God is telling you to do. Like, I want to know. I want to see. Either the Bible's the truth or it's all a lie. That's how I feel. So He said, trust Him. He said, take a step of faith. He said, if you have seeds of faith as small as a mustard seed, He said, test me and see if I will not open up the windows of heaven, that there will not be room enough to receive. Like, I want to see. He said, ask and you shall receive, seeking you shall find, knocking the door will be open. He said, no weapon formed against you shall prosper. Jesus. So I'm putting this into effect, and I want to see. That's how I feel. That's how I feel. That's how I feel. I want to see. I want to know. I feel bad. I just need to vent today. So for all of you who are fighting an addiction, I congratulate you. I commend you, because that means that you have allowed the warrior inside of you to stand up. That superwoman or superman inside of you to stand up. And you said, no. Flesh, you don't control me. I control you. And it ain't easy. But when you have God giving you that strength, you can do it. I'm learning this. Like, I'm really, literally learning this. And even though I'm going through my emotions and I'm going through the emotional thing and but I'm still getting through it, because I'm understanding it's one day at a time. And each day I'm getting stronger. Even if it don't look like it, I know I am. I can feel it. My strength, my determination is getting stronger. Even though some days, I'm crying all day long. I feel like, Lord, I can't find the flower. Where is the flower for the, I'm going through the emotions. Once I figure out how to get past the emotional triggers, I'll be okay, I feel like. So for those of you who you're on this journey with me, we just got to figure out how to deal with our emotions or our withdrawals. So, yeah, and you know what? I feel like even when I was singing on Sunday, I could feel like, I felt like, okay, I could hold the notes a little bit better. I feel like, the only reason why I'm still able to sing is because God has shown me favor, because I've been smoking for 40 years, y'all. So I feel like God is, and I ain't gonna say I'm the best singer. There are so many singers and so much better than me and all that kind of stuff, but I just allow what is in me to just come out. But I just felt stronger. I could feel, there's a strength behind me not smoking. Somebody said it make food taste better too. So I don't know. I'm trying to see. Wow, that is the thing right there, Miss Killyby. She said, I started drinking because I felt extremely lonely in my marriage. Through counseling, I'm learning how to deal with my emotions sober. Because that's the thing about addictions. Most of us, the reason why we pick up these things is we're trying to figure out how to mask, how to deal, how to not experience what the emotions and the things. You know what I'm saying? There are people who are still dealing with childhood trauma. They're still dealing with the fact that their daddy used to beat them, or their mama used to beat them, or the mama used to beat the daddy, or the daddy used to beat the mama, or the mama was on drugs or whatever, or they got abused. They experienced being sexually abused by somebody that they love or trusted, or a neighbor or something like that, or they went through like being bullied. Jesus, because I know I used to get bullied. It was. Let me tell you something. In the 80s, it was not cool being dark skinned. In the 70s, it was not cool being dark skinned. It really wasn't. What's going on, Black Queen? How you doing? It was not cool being dark skinned in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. I take that back. In the 90s, it was okay because I went to school. I went to a black college, historic Central State University, and that was like 88. And all of a sudden, I got picked on and called all kind of black names. I was every black, ugly, whatever name throughout my whole freaking life. And then I got to college, and all of a sudden, I was Queen Bee. I don't know what happened. I don't know if it's because I grew, I matured, my looks matured, my shape got better. I don't know what it was, but I went from being an ugly duckling to I felt like Olivia Newton-John. You remember the movie Grease? Shush. Oh gosh, no, it was oh my gosh. Being dark skinned, a dark skinned female in the 80s and 70s, and it was just the worst experience, you know. But I understand that now. I understand why. Because now when I look back at our history, and I'm understanding that the 60s was a horrible time for African Americans. Nobody, we went through a lot. The 50s, African Americans went through a lot. The 40s and the 30s, African Americans went through a lot. All that kind of stuff. And then there was, special treatment given to mulattoes, Jesus, or given to, the lighter skin, even going back to slavery, it was the dark skinned ones that had to be in the field, and it was the light skinned ones used to be in the house, with the master, where the master was sleeping with them and creating more mulatto babies or whatever, while the dark skinned ones was out there picking cotton. Like I'm understanding. So by the time we get to the 70s, when it just came, Martin Luther King had just got killed. We lost a lot of civil rights leaders, in the 60s, So by the time 70s came, it probably had kind of like went undercover, but they still wasn't messing with us dark skinned people like that. So us who grew up in the 70s, we grew up not understanding why you don't like. Okay, my skin is darker than you, but why you don't like me? Why you picking with me because I'm dark skinned? I am now, but I wasn't then. I was in Ohio. I was in the north, or Midwest. I didn't come to the South until I became an adult. It was not cool being dark skinned in the 70s and 80s. So, people are still dealing with that trauma. Some people of being bullied as a child, If they was dark skinned, or they was chubby, or maybe they was in a slow learning class, or maybe they had ears was too big or something. I don't know I don't know. People the bullying was a hot mess back then. And some people still holding on to that even as adults. So sometimes they use drugs and alcohol and things to mask that pain from yesterday, because they still are that little girl or that little boy that was hurt on the inside. You know what I'm saying? So they use alcohol and drugs and all that kind of stuff. The one thing I can say as I've gotten older, and my relationship with God became closer, and me being a nurse and having to take care of people from all kind of different ethnic backgrounds and socio-economic experiences and all that kind of stuff, I began to understand that it ain't nothing really about what you look like on the outside. It's about the love and who you are on the inside. That spirit man on the inside. Because if you ever notice when you go to a funeral, that it really do just be a shell there. It really is just clay there. The people never look like they did in life. The thing that made them who they are, who made them beautiful or made them mean or whatever it was, that whole energy, that spirit is gone, and all it is a piece of clay. A piece, you know, they don't look the same. It ain't about what we look like on the outside. Who cares if you're light skinned, dark skinned, white, black, Mexican? Green, who cares? Who cares? Because when on the inside, you still heart, lungs, blood, everything is still the same. We all have a gene that's the same in us. And understanding that the only way that a gene, the mitochondria E gene, could be passed down and be in every human race means that it had to start with the female. It had to be at least the female. The female had to pass it down from child to child to child to child, to generation to generation. We all related. You my cousin. Whether you like it or not. Even if you racist, I don't care. You still my cousin. Yes. And you know what I found out? Killy B, I found out that even in other cultures, the darker person in that culture is still seen in a negative light, even if they're not African Americans or white. The people in other cultures, in other races, they still, there's something about the darker child is not treated like the other ones, and I'm trying to figure out, like, why is that? Why is that? I don't understand. To me, I don't understand. And I'm guess when that day comes and God says, "All right, Patricia, it's time to come on home." I want to have a whole bunch of questions written out, so when I go over on the other side, I can ask him. Okay, so explain to me about this right here. I want to understand. I want to know why. Why? I don't know why. Me being a nurse allowed me to have love for anybody and everybody. I don't know. I never really understood, and I have never understood racism. I haven't. I haven't. I've had patients that were Caucasian that I loved. I had patients that were black that I loved. You know, people, they hold these negative thoughts about each other because you don't know each other. You know, so you can only go. You can't hate you don't like a Mexican or a black person or a white person or whatever because your grandpapa didn't like them. Well, why didn't your grandpapa like them? And why? So how can you take what your grandpapa didn't like and put it on everybody that you meet now because they're the same color as the color that your grandpapa didn't like when you don't even really know why your grandpapa didn't like them? Like, it don't matter what your color is, what your race is. Who cares? Who cares? I really pray. When I did that song, I'm really praying over our nation, our country, our world, and our families. I am. I remember a time when I was growing up, in all honesty. I remember, I'm just saying, I got to be honest. I remember a time when, the whole world looked at America like we was up there. When you go look for applications, America, you find America first, and you go down and find all the other countries or whatever. It's like we was up there, like we was the shiznick. Then all of a sudden, I don't know, we started turning into something different, and now you got to go all the way down. When you get the application, you looking for America, you got to go all, United States way down. You don't get to America at first. No, you got to go all the way to the bottom and find us at the bottom. We down there now. Because that's how our America is. Like, we went from, to everybody wear masks. and social distancing and companies crumbling and all that kind of stuff. And now it's like, I don't know what happened. So at some point, somebody must have took the world and smacked it and made it go to a backward spiral, because I swear to goodness, I feel like we're going backwards, and I'm trying to figure out, like, why is we going that way? So what the hell? We just came through the 60s and the 50s and the 40s and the 30s and the 20s and the hundreds and the 18s and all that. We already we what? I don't what is we in a time capsule? Can I put a different date? Because I don't want to go back to 1835. I don't know what's going on. Can we get this planet back going in the right direction or whatever? Can everybody understand to love each other? Like, what the heck is really going on? I can't believe I quit smoking. I'm so proud of myself. So anyway, y'all, I'm not gonna hold you up. I need to go and figure out what I'm gonna eat. Well, actually, my bae is cooking. God bless me with a man that can cook. Praise the Lord. He got this stuff. He love his child. I don't mind cleaning up. Cook. I clean, just cook. So we got a great understanding. Most of the time, although I do have my days when I have to cook, and I'm starting to play around with these different recipes. When it's my turn to cook. But when it's my turn to cook, I'll be like, darn it. Because he cooks and he does a good job, and I just go in after he finishes cooking, and he be in there, Chef Boyardee and everything be all. You know how men are, everything be everywhere. And I just go in and clean it all up, because I ain't gotta cook. I don't care. I clean it all unless I have one of them days. I'm just like, can you please put that in the dishwasher? But otherwise, I love he's a good. God bless me with a man who loves me unconditionally. He don't care about my flaws. He don't care, He don't care about my imperfections. You know, we just got a good understanding. And being that this is my second time around, I asked a patient today. Patient had been married for 62 years, y'all. 62 years. And I asked them, and they was back there just laughing, because I work from home, but I deal with patients, mainly patients who are in their 60s and 70s and 80s and 90s. I got a couple of 90-year-olds, and I'm just like, is you really 90? Let me see your ID. But I talked to this one couple, and it was like, we've been married for 62 years. And I'm at 62 years, right? I said, I feel the same way, Miss Gilly B. And I asked him, and I heard him in the background. He was laughing, And I was just like, what? I said, listen, this is my second time around, and I'm just trying to figure out, like, what do I need to do? Like, what was the ingredient? I asked a few of them, because most of the patients, and I don't know why this is, most of the patients that I have that are in their 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, they've been married 30, 40, 50, 60 years. They've been like they were in a time period where when they said I do, they meant that. they meant that, And so I asked them, like, how did you maintain 60 years? And she told me, and he was actually, he said it, because the patient was the woman, but he was in the background, and she was just like, we just get along, and then he was like, I can tell you what it is. He said it's trust. That's what he said. He said it's trust. You got to trust each other. Another couple, one time they was like, communication. You got to be able to talk to each other, And I had another person like, you got to be able to laugh together. You still got to spend time with each other. You still got to do stuff for each other. You got to still feed the relationship, Because now these new school people, they get married, and I don't know if it's just celebrity life, whatever. They get married, and 5 years later, they're like, you know what? I don't want to do this no more. So I'm just like, I'm older now, I want that partner that I can just be with for the rest of my life, When I get older and whatever process I got to go through as I continue to age. I want that person that got my back I can go home and cuddle up to, at 70 or 80 or 90, if the Lord allows me to live that long, and just be like, baby, we made it. I want that. I didn't been through. I feel like when you're young, you shouldn't even get married. They should make it where you can't even get married at age 20, because you don't even at 20. You don't, in your 20s most of the time in this age, they don't even understand what relationships and the sacrifices and stuff you got to go through to be in a relationship. I know I did in that 20. I got married the first time when I was 24. What I know about marriage at 24? I ain't know a darn thing. Just like I ain't know how to be a mama. Yes, Lord. I think the biggest thing when you've been, because 25 is still a long time, you know? It's a long time. And if the two of you have loved each other enough to make it to this point, and he's in counseling with you, and trying, just pray and God will bring you through, you know? If that's what God has said. I mean, you just got to go to God in prayer. But I know you ain't going to tell me the people who've been married for 40, 50, 60 years, you ain't going to tell me they always had it easy. I don't believe that. I think some of them just learn how to just stick it in there. But then there are some people that's just like, you know what? And it depends on the kind of relationship, too. Because, those couples, the ones I talk to that have been married that long, they seem happy. They seem like, hey. But there are sometimes you can get with the wrong person, and you dealing with abuse. God don't want you to be abused. That's how I feel. I like God don't want. I do not want to wake up every day with and stay with somebody who is beating me down mentally, emotionally, and spiritually every day, just so I can say, oh, we made it to year 25, 26, 27, 28. No, Life ain't guaranteed. I don't want to be unhappy and miserable. Either we gonna work it out and figure it out and be happy together and figure out how we gonna love each other until old age, or I'm gonna have to rock on and you can rock on and I'm gonna find who gonna love me, because God don't want us to be miserable. So I don't speak that longevity stuff to anybody who's in anything abusive. No. And sometimes manipulators would be like, "Oh, ain't nobody else gonna want you but me." That's not true. Because there's somebody for everybody, and one man's trash is another man's treasure. So no, I don't agree with that. But if it's just, differences of differences in agreement, or you just going through a hard spell in your marriage or something like that, then work that mug out. Figure it out. Go to council, go to church, pray, sing gospel songs together. Figure it out. Go start dating again. Go get a book and figure out how to make sex better. Do something. But if it's abusive, and he beating on you and all that kind of stuff, or cursing you out, or calling you out your name and making you feel like you is not worthy and all that kind of stuff, life too short. No. And sometimes some people will stay in them kind of relationship and be like, well, I'm staying in here till the kids get 18. But you don't even understand. You standing in, the kids is watching all that drama between y'all, and when they get to be about 25, they still gonna be blaming you. They still gonna be tripping, flipping out. They want to come back and tell you, I'm like this because of XYZ. Like, pray to God about it. Yeah. If you're in an abusive relationship, unless the both of you get counseling and God says stick in it. Some people, they stay in it because they're afraid to leave, or maybe there's a financial reason or something, but I don't care. If you're in an abusive situation, that does not count. She said, I think abusers are extremely insecure. They try to trick a person into staying with them. Yeah, listen. This is what I say to a man or a woman that's being abused. You walking around with black eyes that you hiding, this joker beating you down, even if it's not physically, if it's mentally, emotionally, letting you know you ain't this, you ain't that, calling you out your name, all the kind of stuff. Because there's somebody out there that will love you. There's somebody out there who, you are just what they've been praying for. And you up here trapped up with this fool who don't understand or see your worth. So it depends on the relationship. If it's a relationship that you're just going through a hard patch, then stick it out and make it work. Save your family. But if you in an abusive relationship and you've been dealing with abuse for years, you've been hiding black eyes and cuts and marks, and you got police reports longer than a rap sheet because this fool keep trying to beat you, whether it's a man or a woman or whatever. Life too short. There's a whole world out there. And there's other people who somebody, is going to think that you are absolutely amazing. So why stay with somebody who can't see your worth? So it just depends on the situation to me, you know. But I do, love when I talk to these patients and they've been married for 30, 40, 50 years. I'd be like, that is the freaking bomb. I had one who, he's 90 years old. He's 9 years old. He's like 88. He was like, on the phone, he told me, he said, and his wife is still living, like they still together. And he like, yeah, I just bought my wife a new 2025 truck. I thought to myself, Lord, she's still driving. Oh Lord, watch out for any 90-year-old on the road in a spanking brand new 2025 truck. But I just thought it was beautiful because he was so proud that he bought her that for Mother's Day. That was his Mother's Day gift to her. I thought that was beautiful. I'm like, oh, that's so cute. And then the same thing, I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, you still driving? He was proud too. He said, I got it with all the bells and whistles. I'm like, that's what's up. So yeah. So anyway, definitely check out my song. It's coming out on. I'm having it where it releases on Mother's Day, and it's called "You Changed My World." And I pray that you feel it. I feel it the way that I felt it when God gave it to me. For me, I'm speaking to my children. That's what I'm speaking about. But, whoever has stepped into your life and made a difference in your life, you know what I'm saying? That song goes to them too. You changed my world. But for me, I'm speaking to my kids. And I'm releasing on Mother's Day on purpose. Not so much just because, I just wanted to release a song on Mother's Day, and I wanted to do my tribute to my children. And it ain't one of them powder puff, oh, I was the best mother in the world. And da-da-da-da. No, I'm speaking to the ones who, it ain't always been easy. But that don't mean you don't love your babies. So anyway, go check out my the pre-Mother's Day live that I did. Because God definitely that was all God going through me, because I wasn't even supposed to go through like that, but it ended up turning out better than what I expected. And I'm happy that I didn't allow the enemy to stop me from still doing it, because I feel like the enemy been fighting me with this music ever since God's put it in my spirit to create a new song. It's like I've been in the ring. I just like fighting. Like I'm fighting. So if you click on my name, I think I got it pinned to the top. If not, it's under my lives. It's under the last live that I did, and you'll see it. It says pre-Mother's Day live performance. And I definitely would ask you, if you can, please share. Because you never know who needed to see that live. Because God definitely used me for that. So yeah, it's on my channel. Yes, ma'am. The song uh, You Changed My World is going to be on all streaming platforms on Mother's Day on Sunday, and Whatever We Ask is already out. Those are the only two songs that I'm releasing as singles from the new album. And the rest, I won't release any more singles from the album. All the rest of the singles will be on the album, and I'm just trying to figure out how I want to do it. Like, I don't know if I want to release any more music, online like that. I'm thinking more like a record or like a USB or CD or something. I want it to be something tangible. So I don't know if the album is going to come out digitally. But those two songs, Whatever We Ask, and the one that I'm releasing on Mother's Day, You Changed My World. Those are online. You'll be able to hear them anywhere. Well, Whatever We Ask, you can see now. Whether We Ask is already out on all platforms. Wherever you listen to music, from YouTube, Spotify, Amazon, wherever you listen to music, you can see Whatever We Ask. And actually, I had Whatever We Ask redone because when I first released it, everybody was like, "Oh, they was pointing out all the imperfections." But something in my spirit was just like, you know what? I'm gonna do that song how God gave it to me. And if y'all don't like it or y'all can hear some imperfections, y'all be okay. So anyway, but that song is out, right? The other one is Keys Cartel. He's a producer I'm rocking with a lot of this some of the songs on this album, and maybe even me and Mr. Hanky will team back up maybe and do another one for the album. I don't know, but I just don't know if I'm going to release. It's supposed to come out June 25th, but I don't know if it's going to. I don't know if I'm going to do a digital release because, I just don't know. I might just do something tangible with that and just make it a record or something. I don't know, something like that. But anyway, these two songs that I am releasing is digital. Yes, ma'am. Check. Yes, please. When you see it, can you please leave a comment and can you please share and let other people see it because you just never, like I said, you never know what people are going through. And just like I did this and I talked about my issue with mothers, there's a lot of people that's going through stuff right now with their kids. You got people who kids in gangs, you got people who kids in jail, you got people who kids strung out on stuff, you got people who kids mad at them, ain't spoke to them in 3 months, 6 months, 5 years. You got a lot of that going on. And they need some encouragement. They need some love. That's how I see that. I appreciate you, Miss Killy B. Miss Killy B in the freaking building, baby. Destiny helper. See, that's what I call a destiny helper. A destiny helper is somebody who God has assigned that you may not even know who they are, but they just come in and they just do, what you can't do on your own, or they help you, they assist you. God uses people to help get the message out there, or take people to the next level, or whatever it is. God uses people to do that. And all the times you don't know who these destiny helpers are. They'll just pop in at just the right time because, we're all on assignment. That's why it's very important to be obedient to the leading of the Holy Spirit because, see, when you're obedient to the leading of the Holy Spirit, it will cause you to be in the right place at the right time to meet whoever you need to meet for the next level of your journey or the next level of their journey. You know what I'm saying? So that's what Destiny Helpers is all about. So thank you to all the Destiny Helpers who have been sharing my live, or who has been, sharing my music, or who's been buying my music or streaming my music or whatever, or who has been, telling people about my live or whatever y'all been doing. All of y'all, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Anyway, all right, I guess I've been on here. I feel better. I feel released. I needed that. Hey, oh, hey. I feel better. I feel good. I needed that. I appreciate y'all. Anyway, thank you. Have a great day, y'all. Bye-bye.